Hey, what is up guys, Shady here, and I'm going to be sharing some tips and tricks that have helped me get better in the Fishing Sim World tournaments. The tournaments are my favorite feature in the game, and the first tournament we're going to be looking at is the Carp Championship. Now the objective here is to catch the heaviest total weight of carp in a 60-minute time limit. It's not very difficult to hook the carp, but the challenge is in reeling them in quickly. These fish range in weights from 30 pounds all the way up to 80 pounds or more, so it can be time consuming wearing them down. The key to reeling them in quickly is using the proper technique. When I first started, I had no technique. I was just reeling and reeling and reeling until I wore that fish down and was able to drag them in. If you just try to overpower them like this and just keep reeling and reeling, what's going to happen is you're going to be wasting a lot of time and you'll probably end up placing somewhere around 100 or worse. By changing the way I reel in, I've continually placed better and better each time I've entered the tournament. So this is how I do it now. I claim a peg and then I cast out my first line and I set the drag to 30, and then I do that for all 3 rods. Now once you get a bite, hold the rod up and start reeling in until the line becomes tight. You want the meter over here to be in the red, and once that meter's in the red, stop reeling. Either the meter is going to start dropping down, which means the line is losing tension, so that fish is moving towards you, and this normally means that this is going to be a smaller fish. Or the meter will stay in the red, which means that that fish is pulling the line, and this normally means that this is going to be a larger fish. So if the meter is red, do not reel in. Stop reeling. Just keep the rod up and let the fish wear itself out. You could be holding that rod up there for a while, but do not turn the reel. Just let the fish keep pulling. Eventually the fish is going to tire out and the meter will begin to drop. Once that happens, begin reeling it in again. If the meter goes up to red, then stop reeling and let the fish wear itself out again. Through the entire process from hooking a fish to the point that you reel it in for the catch, you want that meter to be in the red as much as possible. The longer amount of time that meter is in the red, the faster the fish is going to tire and the easier it will be to catch. So once the fish is worn down, you're going to begin reeling it in, and the meter won't be hitting red anymore until you get that fish close to you, and then it's going to start to try to run again. Now, one thing you can do that is totally optional is while you're reeling it in is to start to increase the drag until that meter goes back up into the red and just continue reeling. You may have to increase this all the way up to 50 to get that meter to hit red. This part is not necessary. You can just reel it in with that drag set to 30, but every second we have that meter in the red, the more it tires that fish down. Now, once the fish is close to you, quickly move that drag back down from anywhere from 29 to 31. If you leave it up past 31, the fish will snap the line. So once the fish is near the shore or the dock or the boat, it's the same as before, but at a quicker pace. Keep your rod up at all times, and when the meter is in the red, stop reeling. When the tension begins to drop, reel again. Once it goes up to red, stop. And when the tension drops, reel in again. And just keep repeating this over and over. With this method, you're going to begin reeling in those bigger fish in about half the amount of time than if you were just constantly reeling. Now, the second part of this is being selective in what fish you reel in. Since you have all 3 lines out at once, it's not uncommon to get 2 or 3 bites at the same time. And you don't want to be wasting your time reeling in a small fish when you might have a big fish on another line. And by the time you reel that small fish in, the big fish could snap the line and get away. So you can kind of judge the size of the fish by using that reeling technique. When you put the rod up and you begin to reel, if the meter stays in the red, then there's a good chance that that's a larger fish. If you raise the rod up and you begin to reel and it doesn't stay in the red very long, it just starts dropping very quickly, or it doesn't stay in the red at all, then there's a pretty good chance that that's a smaller fish. And what you can do is switch to the next line, raise the rod up, begin to reel, see if that meter stays in the red. If it does, then you may have a bigger fish on that line, and that's the one you want to focus on. This doesn't always work because sometimes the big fish could quit pulling initially, but then when you reel it in for a little bit, it could start pulling again, but you're going to find out more times than not that this does work. Just by using both of these methods, you're going to start getting better weight amounts because you're pulling in the big fish faster and you're not wasting your time with the smaller fish. But to get even bigger weight amounts, you're going to need to key in on the boss fish. You're going to need to reel in as many of these named boss fish as possible. These bigger boss fish seem to key off of different baits, so set up each one of your rods to use a different bait type. I've had good luck with bloodworms, prawns, and tiger nuts. Also, don't be afraid to move. If you catch 1 or 2 large fish in one spot, go to the map and move to another spot. You need as many of these boss fish as possible, and there's a pretty good chance you're not going to catch them all from one location. For the equipment, I'm using a Sonic Vader X. That's going to give you the longest range out of all the spinning rods, and it's enough distance to get to the middle of 𝐁𝐄𝐋𝐿, and that's where I've seemed to have the best luck getting the boss fish. You want to use 25-pound line or better. I use the 25-pound Quarta Supernatural, and for the hook, I'm using the 4-hinge rig since the bottom of 𝐁𝐄𝐋𝐿 is primarily all weed. I hope this video helps you out. Hit that thumbs up button, and until next time, I'll talk to you later.
Yeah, Shady Wags got your back. It's so entertaining, you need to subscribe to Got Your Back gaming gameplay and reviews, even doing walkthroughs. This the best gaming channel, I'm just telling you the truth. PS4, Xbox One, or even PC, plenty tips, all the tricks. This is just what you need.